So if you look into this one, it says this is what it requires to set up an on-premise data. When I say on-premise, this is what it takes to set up a traditional web server, or could be any server. You can host anything on a software. I mean, on a server, and this is the different components which it takes to build a server. It needs a data, it needs application, it needs database, it needs operating system, virtualization, and then physical server, network storage, and data center, right? When it comes to SaaS, as I said, you don't worry about anything except for the data. So all that you use is data, and rest everything is taken care by the cloud provider. And when it comes to PaaS, you just host your application, you manage the data, rest everything is taken care by the cloud providers. Now, when it comes to IaaS, which is called as infrastructure as a service, where you also manage your data, you also manage your application. On top of that, you also worry about what is the database which is being used, what is the operating system which is being used. You can customize. Like if your application needs the most recent Windows version, right? Let's consider your application is compatible only with Windows 2019. You can ask the cloud provider, I would need this operating system on the application. So when you use IaaS, the cloud provider gives you the option to choose what is the operating system, or what exactly, or the infrastructure which needs for your application. You can customize it. But when it comes to PaaS or SaaS, you're not given that opportunity to decide what is the operating system which needs for your application, right? So these are the three different uh, service models which is available with cloud. It is available across every cloud. So IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, right? So this is going to be an important concept, because when you dig deeper, or when you take your career further with respect to cloud, you can specialize in any one of these model levels. You could be an IaaS engineer, you could be a PaaS engineer, you could be a SaaS engineer, or you can specialize in any one of these services as well. So you can just make remember the different cloud models which is available as of now. So that would be more than sufficient. So now let's go back to the service models which is available. So as I said, they have SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, right? So the example would be Gmail, and Google application host is one example of PaaS. And virtualization, where you just need an operating system for your application, is IaaS. All right. Now go back to our next slide, where I'll walk you through uh, the overview about how exactly a cloud service provider looks like. So let me just show you what it takes, or how does it looks like in Azure portal. So we'll mainly focus only on Azure portal right now. So because we are discussing about Azure, so I'll tell you how this Azure cloud portal looks like. So I did sign into this one. So all that you need is an email address. Okay. So if you sign in with your any email address into for the first time, all that you have to do is like azure.com. If log in, and then it says free account over here, right? Which implies you can create a free account for yourself. So click on free account, and then it says you can create your Azure free account today. And it also says 12 months of free services. So if you're a student, or if you just want to learn about the service cloud portal, Microsoft Azure, it gives you an uh, opportunity to have these services free of cost for 12 months, though they have a limit on this, but they provide you these services for free of cost for 12 months, right? Or if you want to host your production, or you want to host your website, and you don't want to use anything of free of cost because you are aware how exactly this works, all that you have to do is just buy the services. You can directly go buy them as well. But in case if you're a new beginner with respect to Azure, you can just play around with this one, create your free account, just take a look into this one to see how exactly this feels, and then you can take it forward with the creating a paid service. So in case if you're logging in for the first time, you would need just an email address, right? And you would also need a credit card to just to authenticate you. I know they would charge you an amount, and once it is authenticated, verified, the amount is refunded to you, right? And you can verify yourself using a phone or a card. And once you do this, you log into the portal. So I have already done this. And once you verify, this is how the portal looks like. So this is the Microsoft Azure portal. This shows the various services which is being offered here by the Microsoft Azure. On the left top corner, here you have the favorite section where you can add all your favorite things, like the resources which is available over here, the function app, the SQL database, and the virtual machines, the load balancers. These are various the services which is being offered by the Azure. So, and you also get the subscription detail. This is your dashboard. You can customize your dashboard based upon your needs and how exactly you want to look it like. And then here you have the notification tab, which gives you the usage details and the credit limit which is available for you. And these things are not being charged in first hand, but you would be charged based upon your usage. So the bill gets created at the end of every month or end of every quarter or end of year, wherein the bill says is customized based upon your usage. So it's like prepaid, postpaid phone, right? You get the connection, you pay at the end of the month based upon your usage, unlike the prepaid one, right? So you can get into the subscription details. You can take a look into this. There are various resource groups. We'll discuss about this in detail because each topic has an in-depth knowledge. I mean, vast information in depth in it. So we'll have to discuss. In case if you discuss about this, it will take a separate class for this one as well. So if you look at the if you create a resources, right, you can create your resource based upon your need, right? And then, so this is how it looks like. You can create your free account and then give your hands on and then see how exactly it looks like, because eventually it's not going to charge you in the first place. So just give it a try and see how exactly this looks like, and I'm pretty sure you'll get used to the terms and terminologies which is used over here. So now we know what exactly is cloud, why is it used, and why should I go for cloud, and the various benefits which is available with respect to the cloud on the traditional over the traditional IT setup. So you have the knowledge now. When it comes to Azure, every cloud service provider has their own certifications, right? When it comes to Azure, they have categorized the certifications into three categories. So there's something called fundamental, associate, and expert. There's one more level called specialist, and this specialist comes after the expert level. So the fundamental level of certification is done by all the. I mean, it's a prerequisite in case if you want to do an associate certificate, right? So you can choose the technology whatever you want, and you can do the associate level certification. But fundamental has to be done by everyone because it sets as a prerequisite for the associate certificate. All that you have to do is start with the Azure fundamental, and then you can choose the technology, and then you can get specialized based upon your interest or based upon your need, right? So if you look into the certification as well, once you complete the fundamental, you can choose the next level of associate certification based on these things. So Azure provides, I mean, cloud has multiple certificates, which is with Azure. So you can choose a developer, or you can choose to become an administrator or solution architect. So you can choose the interest, I mean, the area of interest, and then perform the certification on this one, right? So so these are the various topics which is available. You can choose to become a security engineer. So you have to do the Azure fundamental and then complete your associate certificate in security engineer, and then you can take it further with the expert level as well on this after this. So we'll begin with how exactly the exam of AZ 900. This is the Microsoft Fundamental Certification looks like. if you take a look at the exam, mainly they look into four different topics. They test the people candidate based on the core Azure service knowledge. They would look for cloud concepts. They would test the candidates based on security, privacy, and compliance and trust. And they would also test the candidate based on the Azure pricing and support. So the exam duration is for 90 minutes, and you would be the candidates would need to answer between 40 to 60 questions. However, the number of questions may change when there's a change in the technology or a job role occurs. And candidates has to score 700. The questions are rated between 1 to 1000, and 700 marks is required to pass this Azure 900 examination. And the cost of examination for Azure Fundamental Certification is roughly 3,800 rupees in India. However, this price varies based on the tax and the countries, right? So these are the four topics which you need to prepare, and then you can appear for the examination. All that you have to do is like prepare well on these four topics and take up the examination. So you gain the knowledge, right? And then you know what exactly is required to get the certification as well. But who should go for this certification, like AZ 900? Or let's put it in this way: who should even learn cloud concepts, right? So if you would ask me, right, most of them would say this certification is only for the people who wants to get into a cloud-based organization, or who are very new to cloud and wants to learn Azure, right? Or just want to ensure that they gain the knowledge on cloud. This course is only meant for them. That's what most of them would say. But if you would ask me, I would say this. I mean, if you would ask me who should gather knowledge on cloud technologies, I would first say in the current era, everyone has to get acquainted with the cloud knowledge. Like, let's consider your WhatsApp data, right? You use WhatsApp, you use an Android or an iOS phone. Do you know where exactly does the data gets backed up? It gets backed up in cloud, right? You use your emails, Gmail, Outlook, Hotmail, Yahoo. You use your email. Where exactly does your email gets saved? It's not on your phone, right? It's on somewhere in the cloud, residing somewhere in the other corner of the world. You use Google Drive, OneDrive. When you change your phone, you restore your phone with just one tap, right? You just restore your phone with a backup. Where exactly do you get these backups from? So if you were to ask me, if someone has to know all these things, they have to learn cloud concepts so that they get acquainted with all these basic terminologies. There are no excuses for someone not to learn cloud at this point of time when the technology is increasing so much with respect to cloud. So cloud knowledge is for everyone. You could be in CFO, or you could be a CTO of a company, or you're just a basic new hire in an IT industry. You should choose certification on cloud concepts and get this knowledge acquainted with respect to cloud concepts. So I say everyone should get cloud acquainted with cloud. But why is it? I would say, why should you go for Azure certification? Now, why should I choose Azure over other technologies, right? I know there are various other technologies apart from the cloud as well, but why should I even choose cloud? Why? What's so special about it, right? So there are various benefits. I can list them all. But I mean, there are various benefits when it comes to cloud. But I have listed few of them for you, the most important ones, right? If you look at the opportunities, they say the job market and opportunities for Azure certified professionals has multiplied in years. So the jobs related to cloud has multiplied in the last few years. That's one reason I say you should get certified in cloud. May it be anything. It could be if you look at the cloud fundamental cloud concept, it's going to remain the same irrespective of whatever cloud you choose. You can choose Amazon, you can choose Microsoft, you can choose Google, or you can choose Oracle as well. But the basic cloud concepts, what we learn over here, the different types of cloud, the hybrid, private, public, the types of service hosting model, that's going to remain the same across all the cloud providers. So getting acquainted with cloud certifications or completing this cloud certifications and the job related to this has multiplied in last few years. And they say there are 1,000 new customers who sign up for Azure every day. That means there are like 365,000 companies which come up every year who are using cloud, and they would need engineers to maintain them, right? So look at the job opportunities what we have, especially after this COVID, when people started working from home. Everything is stored in cloud because nobody has their own server which is maintained at their home. They go for cloud, so they would need also engineers to maintain them, right? If you remember, I said that Azure cloud provider who started in my previous slide, that Azure was a cloud who provider who started after all the major ones began, right? It was first Amazon Web Services and then Google, and then it was Microsoft Azure. They started their operation after all the major players, you know, but still they managed to be the one of the major cloud service provider in the market right now. The reason is like they have the fastest growing the clients which come to Azure. They are the fastest growing cloud providers in the market right now. If you consider all these reasons, there's no wonder why no wonder why no one would choose Azure, and there's no surprise that why Azure stands out of all other cloud service providers, right? And I know I told you why don't you choose other technologies over cloud, right? If you look at the data, I don't mean to say that other technologies do not have any cutting edge of growth, or you cannot have the same amount of uh, growth in other roles apart from cloud. Other roles do have, but if you look at the cloud, look at the data. It says 85% of enterprises are committed to integrating cloud architect. So it means after this COVID, especially 85% of the companies wants to host their organization IT industry on cloud. They don't want to maintain their own data center. And they say cloud related roles by 2023 will be 48%. It means 50, more than close to 50% of jobs which come up in IT industry will be related to cloud, right? And it they also say 19% of new jobs with respect to cloud has come up. So I know there used to be something called as uh, a job which is related to mechanical, a job which was never existed before appeared all of a sudden. So if you look at that kind of statistics, 19% of new roles has come up in the last few years. So it is giving growth to new jobs with respect to cloud, right? And 65% of people have benefited after completing this certification within 3 to 4 months. So they have seen some amount of growth or and salary hike or a promotion after they complete their certification with respect to cloud. And 21% of people have got the job offer promotion. As I said, it's the same, like 21%. It's a huge number, right? Can you imagine 21 out of 100 people, 21 people getting promotion every year? That doesn't usually doesn't happen. And 35% of the non-tech roles are coming up in cloud. You don't have to be an IT engineer. You don't have to complete your computer science engineering, or you don't have to have a background of computer science. But still, there are 35 non-technical roles which has come up in cloud. And if you specifically if you look into Azure, they say the Fortune 500 companies are with Azure. That's because Microsoft runs with trust. This one sentence, that trust they hold Microsoft, which provides to its client, that has gained the confidence of clients, wherein that's what has won most of the government organizations. So if you look into Azure, they have most of the Fortune 500 companies as well as the government companies with them. They are investing 6.3 billion annually every year. I mean, every year on cloud. So they're expanding as well. And then 41% feedback, which is positive about the cloud service providers, which is very huge, right? So if you look at these complete statistics, it gives you a very good reason why you should not choose Azure, right? I mean, if you still don't get convinced that you should choose cloud over the other technologies. And after looking at this recent data, I'm pretty sure you should take a look into, you should take a second look into this data again. So with this, I would like to call it as a day. I just hope you enjoyed the session with all this information which I just provided you.